Aging infrastructure is a major challenge for communities, not just for a handful of isolated urban or rural centers, but as a nationwide problem. It is a dilemma with the potential to erode the lifestyle we have come to expect. As an elected member or in management, you have a critical role in ensuring the long-term sustainability of your community. It is not something you can leave for somebody else to worry about. Infrastructure is the foundation of our communities. It provides all the basics most of our citizens take for granted. Essentials like roads, bridges, community facilities, sewage, water, and waste management. A typical small community might have infrastructure assets with a replacement value of $20 million, $50 million, or even $1 billion for larger communities. We simply cannot afford to let past investments fail. The problem is, we're struggling to cope with the demands of growth or development booms and busts. And while well-maintained infrastructure is critical to our economic growth and stability, public safety and a high quality of life is also costly. The impacts of climate change are only going to increase our future risks. We must plan for more frequent and extreme rain events and extended droughts. Infrastructure assets generally have long lives, some enduring well past the century mark. But by their very creation, they generate a raft of ongoing responsibilities and challenges. Ultimately, we are faced with the expensive prospect of total replacement or renewal, even for infrastructure local government did not originally provide. Assets are depreciating at a rate of many billions of dollars per annum, and many local governments are effectively running deficit budgets. They have substantial infrastructure renewal liabilities that they are ill-equipped to meet. This is a dilemma for our communities. There have been significant changes in demand for services, but municipal governments don't have a lot of control over the revenues that are available to them. Municipalities are often dependent on other levels of government for assistance. What can you do about it if you don't want to leave a liability for future generations? Three key elements are pivotal to the future viability of your community. You have to understand and accept your stewardship responsibility. You must know what your community can afford, and you need to move from annual budgeting to long-term financial planning. Developing an infrastructure asset management plan is a must and is a logical four-step process. Step 1 means getting to know what you already own and the level of service you can currently afford. You then estimate the cost to maintain and renew your assets to meet future levels or standards of service. In Step 2, you need to consider any increase in demand and cost for services from development growth, the impact of climate change, or changes in population or community expectations. Step 3 involves preparing a life cycle management plan for all the assets you own, knowing where they are in their life cycle, diminishing the risk of hitting that unexpected wall of expenditure when assets start to fail. Life cycle costs can be reduced by 30 to 60% by proactive management, doing the right thing at the right time consistently. And in Step 4, risk and financial projections become essential in determining which assets and services are most important to your community and the options to balance levels of service against cost. This is not an impossible task. To take this further, your community needs an asset management plan, and eventually, you must move from annual budgeting to long-term financial planning. The total cost that some assets can incur over their lifetime can be up to 5 times the initial capital cost. So, for every $200,000 you spend on a new project, you could be committing your community to another $300,000 to $800,000 in future costs. The long term has to become an essential part of doing business. Proper planning for vibrant communities begins with the vision for tomorrow, and tomorrow can only fulfill its promise if actions are put on the agenda today. You need to be proactive, not reactive, taking a fix-it-when-it's-broken approach. It's time to get on with the job. It doesn't matter how small you are, the smallest community or the largest city, you need to embrace the process of asset management and make sure that asset management is an essential part of your decision-making. You can accept what is, or you can choose to build and manage the community you want. You can choose what change is needed, or you can wait to see what happens. You can react to circumstances, or you can influence them. You have the choice. If you want to learn more skills, write your organization's asset management plan, and earn a qualification at the same time, explore IPWEA's internationally recognized professional certificate in asset management planning. What is your legacy for future generations going to be? Take action today for your community's future tomorrow.